We'll get started. Quick introduction again for those of you I have not met before. My name is Zach Kahn. I'm the international president for Circle K International. I'm going to be leading the call today. I'll also let Katie and the staff members introduce themselves too before we get started.
Hi everyone, my name is Katie. I go to Rutgers University in the New Jersey district, and I'm the Circle K International Vice President.
Hi, I'm Sam Wagner. I am the Circle K program specialist.
Hey everybody, nice to see you. I'm Josh Dotson. I'm the Circle K manager.
Awesome. So tonight we're gonna start with some updates and announcements, just some reminders, and then we're gonna go into a roundtable discussion to see what everyone's been up to, see if we have any questions that anyone wants to ask. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. With the first thing, we're gonna start with brick by brick. So we have a couple cool events coming up. We'll drop the links in the chat as we go. But the first thing, a cool event called Battle of the Brick is coming up. So that is a $10 entry. $10 entry fee. Half of the funds raised are going to be donated to the district who gets the most members to attend, and half of the funds um, will be donated to Brick by Brick in the name of the winner of our trivia competition that we'll be hosting during the night. So it's really meant to be a fellowship event for people from across the organization, from members from across the organization, and it should be a really good time. But you can go ahead and sign up with that link. It's going to be March 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. But it should be really cool. It's being hosted by our Brick by Brick committee. And then next thing is we actually have the Brick Games going on right now, which is a really cool fundraising opportunity as well. The International Board has designed a number of bricks, all representing our home districts. So we had some leeway with that. Yeah, thanks for dropping them in the chat, Sam. But you can go ahead and donate. Whoever's brick raises the most money will end up winning the battle of the We'll end up winning the Brick Games this year. Sorry, I'm mixing up the names. We'll end up winning the Brick Games this year. Um, so I would encourage you to go vote for my brick or anyone's brick that you want to support. But right now, I'm going to plug my own brick. Bill Bricklacek is my brick this year. So for those of you that might not be New England sports fans, I apologize, but I would still like the brick by brick donations to come in. Yeah, I'm definitely putting a finger on the scales, Josh. My Kendrick Lamar won last year, and I'm trying to keep up the win streak. So, yeah, go ahead and check that out. Really cool of fundraising opportunity, and it was a lot of fun making the bricks too. I know all the board members had fun with it. And it's also a cool thing. It's a cool thing that you can do in your clubs or in your districts is host a competition similar to what we're doing. And yeah, it should be a very cool opportunity. Um, Next thing, we are going to talk a little bit about international convention and all of the things going on with international convention and the end of the service year. So the first thing is registration for international convention. We do have an early registration price this year. So that means that you can save up to $50 by registering before April 14th. So for those of you that are thinking about registering for international convention, the sooner you do it, the more money you'll save. So obviously a plus there. But April 14th is the registration time. International convention is going to be in Denver, Colorado this year, with Kiwanis. So it's going to be a combined convention. It'll be a very cool event. We have a lot of networking opportunities for our members, as well as electing the next international board, giving out club and district awards, and again, just exploring the city of Denver. It's going to be July 3rd through 5th. So it's going to be over the 4th of July, which is a really cool opportunity for our members to explore a new city. explore Denver during the 4th of July. So there will be a lot of free time to explore the city, a lot of time to interact with Kiwanians and CKI members. So I would encourage you to push this to your club members because it's going to be a very cool opportunity. That and like just being able to see the full scope of what CKI does is very inspiring for members too. I know when I went to my first convention several years ago, it really did give me a push to want to join international leadership and just to step up in my district and really get more involved in the organization. So if you're looking to build the members of your club and really provide them with a cool experience, I would encourage you to really be pushing international convention as a great developmental tool for your members, both professionally and personally.
And Zach, I'm gonna add too, if you are a Kiwanis member, you can register for the both conventions. So we highly encourage you to recommend or register for Circle K first. And then what you're going to do is if you'd like to vote for your club, like if you want to go to the Kiwanis House of Delegates, what you'll do is you'll then go to the Kiwanis registration and there's going to be a code and you'll register for the 1-day House of Delegates voting and you'll type in Rockies, ROCKIES 24. And that will take your registration down, your registration price down. I'm not sure, Josh, if you know off the top of your head, I can't remember what it is, but you'll only be paying for that day of House of Delegates. So then you'll get your credentials and you can go to the Kiwanis side and vote. But your Circle K registration for convention gets you into both of the conventions. You just don't get access to the like district dinners or the Rockies tickets. You'll need to do that through the Kiwanis side. But you can attend any of the Kiwanis events that you'd like other than the added extra ones if you do register for the CKI event. Again, it's ROCKIES 24. I'll drop it in the chat. You'll register for Circle K first, and then you go and just select the 1-day House of Delegates ticket.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Yeah, and I know I was just really plugging it for a great opportunity for students, but it is also a great opportunity for everyone on this call too. Advisors attending always have a great time too, and there's a lot of inspiring ideas that you can gain from coming to convention. So I'd encourage everyone to attend. Um, yeah, so if you have any questions, we'll pause real quick if any of you have any questions about convention.
I do. Just so I'm going to be coming to the convention and I'm bringing my spouse who's also a Kiwanian. Now I'll register through Circle K and then I'll do the addition. Does he need to register just as a straight Kiwanian because he's not an advisor, or can he register with Circle like the same way I'm doing?
You can register the same way he's doing. It's absolutely fine. They'll just prompt you and you can select what you are, and so he'll be fine.
Great, thank you.
I have a question. I'm also the Builders Club and K-Kids administrator for the New England and Bermuda District of Kiwanis. So, and I'm also a Circle K advisor for Westfield State University. So my question is, I am going to also sign up to go to a couple of boot camps at the Kiwanis side of the International Convention. So which one do I sign up for? Do I sign up for Circle K? But does then that mean I cannot go to the workshops put on by Kiwanis International?
So I guess the workshops, do you have to sign up for the, like if you're going to the boot camps, are they like, do you have to pay anything extra to attend those?
They are, so from what I understand, they are included in my $400 registration fee.
Then no, you like with your registration, you can attend anything and everything you want. Like you're going to have a badge with your CKI one. They'll let you into anything. So you can attend anything that's Kiwanis related, unless it is a district dinner, anything that you would have to pay extra for.
Okay.
And yeah, those are like the added extras. Like last year there was a concert and stuff like that. Those would be the added extra, the add-ons. Those are not included in your registration, but with the CKI one, you can get into anything else Kiwanis wise. So
Okay,
if you
so
only want to go to 2 things for CKI, that's absolutely fine. You can go to the rest for Kiwanis, whatever you want to do.
so I'm probably better off registering with CKI.
we'd love to have your, yeah, you get all the stuff through CPI. And then if you then want to be a delegate, so if your club sends you as a delegate,
Right.
that's when you'll register for the 1-day pass. You'll go to the Kiwanis
Okay.
and you'll just select that 1-day pass. And then you put in that Rockies code. And it'll take it down and you'll only get charged for that 1 day.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Sam, do you know if the 1,000 Kiwanians have already received baseball tickets? That's the only thing to be aware of, is the first 1,000 people on the Kiwanis side that register get a Rockies ticket for the 4th of July. We would love people to register through CKI and use the discount code for that Saturday for Kiwanis. But for those of you who really want that baseball ticket, so long as it's within the first 1,000 people, you would have to go and register on the Kiwanis side, if that makes sense. And I can see Sam looking for it, so we can come back to it. We can keep moving.
Yeah, it looks like Sam will get back to us on that. Any more questions about registration for convention? All right. Just a couple more things that are related to convention that we're going to go over. The next thing is club awards. So, as most of you probably know, clubs and districts are eligible to apply for a number of awards each year at international convention. So the applications for club awards are due May 15th. And there are a number of awards. Katie just dropped the link for the awards website, but it includes the Club Achievement Award, Club Promotional Video Award, Outstanding Single Service Award, Outstanding District Newsletter and Bulletin, Outstanding Service Initiative Involvement, Charter of the Year Award, and Signature Project Contest. And all of those awards are any club in good standing for Circle K International is able to apply for. So I would encourage you all to apply for awards. It's a great way to recognize individual clubs at the international level when that's not always the easiest to do. So it's a really cool way to really shout out clubs that are doing great work and really spotlight some of the things that you're doing well. So if you know that your club might be eligible or might have a good chance at winning one of these awards, I would really encourage you to apply. Um, and especially, I'm going to talk about the signature project contest too. So, for clubs that might have an annual project that you host that is really cool or really unique, I'd encourage you to apply for that award because it's also a really good way to inspire other clubs to do something similar or really um, get ideas from what you have been doing throughout like your year as a club. So, any of these awards, I'd encourage you to apply for, and the deadline is May 15th. So the other thing is also the Growth Enhances Membership or GEM Awards go out to the clubs that see the most significant club growth. You won't have to apply for those, but I would encourage you, if you have seen significant club growth this year, there's a good chance that you might be winning one of these awards. So that's just another incentive to potentially consider going to international convention. So, any questions on awards? I know I just talked pretty quickly on that one.
I apologize. I was looking something up. Did you talk about Signature Project?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, again, if you have a super unique project, we always love to see those. That's a great one. You just have to have done that project at least 2 years in a row. And that's the one that's kind of what's become known as your club's project that you're known for.
Awesome. Any questions on awards? All right, we will move on. The next thing, last thing I wanted to add related to international convention is that the deadline for candidates running for international office to submit their paperwork is by April 3rd at noon. So if any of your club members or district members um, have been endorsed by either your district or your club to run, April 3rd at noon is the deadline for that. So make sure that your club members don't miss that because that's an important deadline if they are considering running. Yeah, with that, we will move on to the next thing on the agenda. So we had a few things. Yes, that's noon Eastern time. Thank you, Jeffrey. Good question. Uh, yeah, if I don't say Eastern time, I'm speaking in Eastern time most of the time, but I'll try to say that every time. Um, so next thing, we're just going to talk a little bit about where we are at Circle K International. In terms of membership. So currently we're sitting at just under 5,400 members this week. That's down from a little over 6,000 members last year. So with this, not meant to be like a concerning thing, but it's meant to just mention that to really make sure that we're pushing spring recruitment. So I know like a big thing this year has been we really want to be making sure that our clubs are recruiting members throughout the year. We have the Strive for 10 initiative that we spoke about a little bit last at the last call, and we've been pushing out throughout the year. It's to recognize clubs that have grown by at least 10 members, and it's really a good way to make sure that Circle K International as a whole is able to meet our goals. It's meant to break it down into a more our growth goals into a more digestible way to see it. So if your club is currently looking like they might be close to adding 10 members, or if you're still about where you were last year or even down, we can encourage you to consider or continue recruiting throughout the year. Spring recruitment is a really undervalued resource for the organization. I know we all look at fall recruitment as like the big way to get members, but there are a lot of people that transfer schools, a lot of other situations where folks might not be looking to get into clubs in the fall semester. So using the spring semester to recruit is a really valuable way to add members to your club and really invigorate like the membership as a whole. Um, but yeah, any questions on that or on the Strive for 10 or the state of CKI? All right. Next thing, we're going to talk a little bit about provisional status. This is something that was mentioned with districts. So we just want to make sure clubs are aware of this too. Um, there are several districts that are going into provisional status this year. And that just means that at the district level, they won't have voting rights at international convention. Um, just wanted to just wanted to bring that up. There are several districts that are going into provisional status this year and receiving some extra help as well. So just wanted to mention this so you're all aware of it. And if you have any questions about provisional status, if you're from a district that's going into provisional status, feel free to reach out with any questions. But just wanted to open this line of dialogue in case any of you have any questions about it. Um, yeah, and then next thing, talking about officer transitions is the next thing that we really wanted to encourage early officer transitions and getting off to a good start. Um, so making a plan of recruitment for the fall season and making sure that we're preparing our officers properly. Um, the big thing is looking into what types of initiatives we want to be pushing with our clubs going into the new year and making sure that our officers are aware of them. So, for example, one thing that we've been pushing out since the start of this year is the First Year Ambassador Program. So that's a program that we've been using to get first year students involved in the recruitment process and get involved in the leadership process of clubs. I would encourage you to explore the program. Again, there's a lot of resources for this on our website. I'd encourage you to take a look at that and consider implementing it for the next year. At this point is when we really would like you to start thinking about the recruitment strategies that you want to implement next year. So as you're touching base with your clubs for the next year, start thinking about things like that, the potential for implementing new leadership positions, the potential for what you could be looking to do in the fall to make sure that we're really encouraging recruitment and encouraging our members to start off on a good foot. Um, but I'll open it up for discussion at this point about does anyone have any great recruitment strategies that they've used or anything that they've found useful in the transition of officers from year to year. I know this is a difficult time. A lot of folks are graduating, so it might not always be the smoothest, but do any DAs have any tips on that, or do any club advisors have any tips for that, or any advice on the transitional period?
New Jersey does a lot of one-on-one training, direct. Like this month is pretty hardcore with one-on-one direct trainings, both for club leadership and for district leadership.
Nice, that's awesome. Yeah, one-on-ones are a great way to make sure that uh, nothing's falling through the cracks.
I found that clubs, just based on the ones that I've had the opportunity to talk with, when you can get your outgoing board to meet with your new board, I'm sure we've all kind of had those outgoing boards that are just like, I'm done, and then just kind of fall off the wagon there at the end once the new officers are elected. But I've noticed when an outgoing board has the opportunity to meet and mentor the new board, is when there tends to be like your new board feels more comfortable in that role and has somebody that can help them kind of get their, get off the ground, going. So before you let the old board completely just retire and ride off into the sunset, it's good to have them kind of meet with the person kind of taking over and provide any advice or kind of things they ran into and wish they would have known. So yeah.
Yeah, adding on that, Sam, I'd say a really useful thing is even toward the end of the year, since most clubs will have officers elected before the very last meeting, considering having those new officers like run an e-board meeting or even run the general meeting to make sure that all the kinks kind of get ironed out for the end of the year so that the start of the year really starts off smoothly. Jones said Carolina's district is having a 2-day training. Yeah, that's a great way to do it too. District-led training is a very good way to start off the year. Club officer training.
And I just want to stress too, as someone that just had to go through and contact a bunch of clubs, it's really important, like Zach said, to update your rosters. I cannot tell you how many clubs did not have their new presidents or anything put in there, and it made it really hard. I had no idea who to contact. And then if an advisor doesn't reach back out or they think the president's taking care of it, it just kind of becomes this like circle where I don't know who to contact. So please make sure you're updating those rosters, and it gets them access to all the tools and resources that they can take advantage of in the membership update center. And then making sure their emails and stuff are in there will allow them to get the newsletter. So please make sure you're guiding your new officers and putting them into the MUC.
Yeah, getting that done now makes it so much easier when officers have to start in the fall, and considering like paying dues and all that, um, makes it a much easier process when it gets to that point.
Sorry, I'm just going to jump in here. I am a fairly new advisor. I've been with my group just from this past fall. And I'm struggling to figure out where can I find the things to help train them with. Like, I don't know much, and I feel completely lost. They come to me if they need something like a room reservation or if they just want a word of advice about something. But as far as guiding them to the website or like, I don't know where any of that is. Like, is there a training for advisors?
Yeah, so I just put the link to the circlek.org/resources page. That is where
Okay.
all of our resources live, every single one of them, and it's all categorized beautifully. So if you're looking for club president training or promotional materials or all of those different things, like everything is there. So that's like your one-stop shop for resources. I would also recommend a lot of universities have like their own student organization or student leadership handbooks. So if your university or college has one of those, I definitely would recommend like looking into that, because for like the more school specific things like room reservations, those can be really helpful. But yeah, I definitely would direct them to the resources page, because we have training manuals, promotional materials, pamphlets, like literally everything you could ever imagine is on that resources page.
Yeah.
So
And if you're, it sounded like you were talking about specifically training like different officers. There's also a club officer guide on there too that kind of explicitly explains each role. And there's also a whole advisor resource section on the website if you scroll down on that resources page.
okay. Yeah. Because like I said, my group has been amazing. Our outgoing president is doing a master, working on her master. So she's moving on to the district level as a lieutenant governor, which is really exciting. And our vice president from this past year is going to be our new president. So as we're transitioning up the officers scale, I guess, our girls already work together. We're a very female heavy group. They work together really well. So I'm not concerned about them struggling so much as just making sure that they're on the right track for things.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question.
I would
Go
say
ahead.
two other things, Jennifer, in addition to that. If you are looking for something specifically, and the quickest way to find it, if you don't want to like peruse the whole resources site, is at the bottom of every single page is a search bar on the website, and that's honestly how I usually find things on our website. Is I just go down to the search bar and look for it. And that includes like administrative guides and those types of things, and officer guides and that type of thing. The second thing I would say is that you can always feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. I'm happy to sit down. I'm happy to volunteer Sam to sit down and talk with you if you need any help or anybody. And so we're also a conduit to information as well. And for full transparency, I've been in my role for less than a year, so I'm still learning a lot of things, and I'm leaning a lot on Sam and other staff and Katie and Zach with the institutional knowledge, but we're all kind of pulling the same rope, so we're happy to help wherever we can.
Well, I think the cool thing for me is that I work at the university where our Circle K is, and I'm also a member of the Kiwanis group. So I kind of have a dual role in that I'm the Kiwanis and the faculty advisor for our group, which has been exciting. And I can't wait to see what they do this year because I'm sure it's going to be so much better than what they've already done.
I
And Jennifer,
also
what club are you at?
University of West Georgia.
Nice.
I was gonna ask if you're from that club. I was at Georgia District Convention and you guys won like every award that was there.
They got me the Outstanding Advisor Award. I was like shocked. I had no idea. And our club, their sponsor club, also won Outstanding Sponsor Club. So it's amazing how they're just the most giving bunch I've ever met. And it's been amazing to work with them. And honestly, I haven't had to do a whole lot for them because they just, grab everything by the horns and run. It's great.
Yeah, and both Sam and Josh put their emails in the chat. I would also recommend reaching out to your district administrator. They're a great resource as well. That might also know kind of like the ins and outs of your geographic area too. And yeah, shout out Jennifer, past Georgia governor.
Awesome. Any other questions related to resources? All right. Well, thanks for the question, Jennifer. We're going to move on from there. Next thing that I wanted to bring up is the Tomorrow Fund. So Tomorrow Fund grants are opening up very soon again. The next cycle is going to be from April 1st to June 1st. But a really cool opportunity for clubs or districts to apply for Tomorrow funds. You can apply for funds for between $200 and $2,000. Any type of service project that you're looking for, you can get funding for. You fill out the grant, and we're happy to help with that process of filling out the grant application itself. But it's pretty straightforward. Basically, any club in good standing is eligible. Any club or district in good standing is eligible to get money for service projects. And that's a really great way to fund some of your club events or even fund a bigger event if you're looking to really expand into something new and cool. Yeah, but Tomorrow Fund grants open April 1st. They will close June 1st and they'll be voted on at International Convention by the board to see who gets the funding. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Okay, can you help me think through, so the club I sponsor, they want to do like an ongoing service project, like throughout the year. Is that something that we can use the Tomorrow Fund to fund? And if it has like different elements to it, or does it have to be like a one and done project? It's been a little bit since I filled this out, so I forgot.
Is it like, it's not monthly based, or like, so we had somebody last year that wanted to do, it was something related to garbage or like trash, recycling type thing. And so it was a year-long thing. We contacted them and asked them if we were able to do it month by month. And so I think we ended up funding like maybe 3 of the months just to kind of see how it worked. And we told them they could apply again next year if it was successful. So I don't know what yours is like.
Yeah, I don't know either, but they've got a couple of different ideas, but I was just trying to think, like, they're always looking for different ideas to sponsor projects and stuff.
The only hindrance I think you might run into is you are unable to apply for a new grant the next year until you've completed that report. So that final report, once the project's all done. So if you do a year-long project, you might run into some issues as far as when the cycles, if they overlap, because you won't have completed your project, like your report, and you cannot do a cycle in the same year. So you can't do cycle 1 and cycle 2. You would have to do cycle one, like wait the full year. And then again, you have to have that report in before you can do the next one.
Okay, so if they applied for April 1 to June 1, that would cover them in the fall. And then they could apply for the next one in 25. Oh, they have to wait the full to April 1. Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so if they,
And again, just make sure they have that report done. You just might run into some issues if it's a year-long project, especially like, and it's from when the application opens.
Okay.
Where would you find that application?
It's in the chat.
In the chat.
Yeah, circlek.org/service/the Tomorrow Fund.
Oh, there it is. There's no way to save the chat, is there?
Actually, I think there is. So if you go to,
I'm trying to find the 3 dots that are normally there, but they're not there. Because instead of writing down all these email things, I mean, not thing, but links, I was hoping that I could save the chat.
Sam or Josh, could we send out maybe like an email after this with all these links? Or
I'm wondering if when I post this on YouTube, it'll allow me to do the, like, I think I can do a version that shows the chat. I'll do some research on it. Let me see what I can do.
Now, I thank you, because this is my first meeting, because I only recently was appointed as Kiwanis Advisor. So I have a lot to learn. So any help would be greatly appreciated. Yes, Sam.
I was just going to say, the good thing about all of these is they're all on the Circle K website. So if you go to circlek.org, at the very bottom of the page, there's a search bar. So you could write like advisors and it'll pop up, or you could write, what else are we talking about? Tomorrow Fund, and all of that will pop up. And sometimes even if you go to Kiwanis and you type in Circle K Advisor, like it'll refer you there.
Okay, and does to apply for the Tomorrow Fund, does it, I'm just thinking because Westfield State does like a huge service project called Breakfast with Santa. Is something like that eligible, or is it not? Because it's just come back since COVID. No, like we did it before COVID, but this was the first time since COVID. So I just want to know what I should tell them.
So all the guidelines on like what can and can't be funded are available on the website, but in general, we just can't fund fundraisers. So
that's
if
what
you're
I need
like,
to know.
if you're like trying to raise money for Brick by Brick, we can't fund that with the Tomorrow Fund. But Jennifer, going back to your point, my advice is always just apply, because if the committee needs to like reach out for more information or like they have further questions, like they will. So you, what, I don't forget what the quote is, but like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take or something like that. Like you never know if you don't apply. So my advice is always just apply. So yeah.
Yeah, plus if you run into any barriers when you're filling out the application, or especially when you're putting your budget together, we're happy to answer questions. We also have a whole committee that's pretty much dedicated to helping out with this too. So,
Yeah, the committee will have office hours leading up to the deadline. So they'll be like on Zoom on like a bi-weekly basis to answer any questions.
And the one thing I will say, if you apply for a Tomorrow Fund, your club must be in good standing. And so if you don't know what the in good standing means, it's either the 10 members if you attend a university that's 5,000 undergrad or 5,000 students and below, or 15 members for the 5,000 and above. And then so what happens in the fall, if you apply for the October 1, December 1, you must have your dues turned in by the application deadline, that December 1 deadline. And then one thing I've just made me think of the paying the dues and everything. I don't know if you did not attend our call last year when we did this. I was out on maternity leave. No, it was in September. So right before I left for maternity leave. Last year was the first time we implemented early dues. So if you don't know what that is, if dues are need to be collected or turned in by December 1, but if you pay your dues by November 1, you can get a patch or a sticker for your club banner. So take advantage of that, pay your dues by November 1, and then you won't have any problems getting to the December 1 deadline for Tomorrow Fund.
Also, just so you're aware, we gave out, I think, 9 Tomorrow Fund grants this past like cycle, and it was about $8,400 worth of money for service projects. So all of this is available for you all as clubs in good standing. Definitely take advantage of it.
any more questions about the Tomorrow Fund? All right, we will move on. But yes, be sure to apply. We love to see a bunch of applications, and it's a great resource that all clubs should take advantage of. Let's see. Next thing, we're going to open it up to some roundtable questions, continue getting some people to talk. So first off, we're going to talk communication with district and international. So is there anything we can be doing better to make sure that you are getting our communications? How do we feel about have you all been receiving the communications that we send out as international and been receiving the things that your district send out too?
Zach, if I receive the notice about this, does that mean I'm on your list?
Yes,
Okay. Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank
Seeing
you.
some thumbs up, that's definitely a good thing. So we'll move it on to another question. What is one thing that you struggle with as a club advisor, and how have you combated that struggle? Or even if it's just a struggle that you're not sure how to combat it either, just bring it up and see if anyone has any solutions.
Hi, I'm Pauline Hirohata from Hawaii. I think our struggle here in Honolulu is recruiting members. We have a few that come in from Key Club, and they are the ones who are pretty much dedicated. However, whenever we, bring aboard other members who were never in Key Club, and is not from Hawaii, they don't show up for meetings. They'll sign up, and they just don't sign up for meetings, and they don't go to any projects. They'll say they'll attend and they're not there. So I don't know if we're the only ones that are going through this or not. We also have another Circle K, which is HPU. And one of the gals was trying to restart it or has already done some paperwork. She is from the island of Hilo, Big Island, and she's a key clubber. So she's pretty much taken the lead on that. But again, you know, she has only like, she says she has 8, but the 8 has not paid yet. So I'm not sure. So I think maybe we're one of those who are kind of looking at going in inactive, especially the UH.
Yeah, I mean, I can kick it off while everyone is thinking of some ideas for that. But a couple things that can be very helpful for recruitment is getting involved with other clubs on campus too.
Mhm.
Um, so whether it's fraternities or sororities or other clubs like Active Minds that we're partnered with, or really any other clubs, just getting involved with those and either they're hosting a service event, going to speak at those meetings, or even just hosting a combined event with any of those clubs is a really great way to really advertise the club. The more sort of events that you do around campus, the more you get involved, the more service projects you host. I think the more members are drawn to the club. So really just getting active on campus and really making sure that Circle K International, the name gets out there is the big thing. I know that's much easier said than done. So if anyone has any more specifics than me being very broad right now, go ahead.
We do have a member who's on the district. She does a lot of design logos. But even it seems like we're kind of losing her a little. Um, it's like she's like in her little world of her own. So I just don't know what else to do. We've reached out to a lot of the junior colleges here that we did a tabling and a lot of them signed up. However, it's more like, seems like when we say what the dues, that dues are involved, then we don't hear from them again. So I think for us too, it's a lot of financial problems that we're having.
Something I would definitely recommend if you have universities or community colleges that are close in geographic area is looking at a multi-school charter. That can definitely improve the member experience instead of having maybe 2 or 3 members outside of the officers, having people from multiple schools can help a lot. And also some strategies that we've used in our club is having a few meetings before we talk about dues. So people meet people and they do a service project and they come for an ice cream social and then we talk about dues. So they can kind of like make connections and see the benefits of the club before we talk about the financial component. And I would also definitely highlight the opportunities for fundraising for dues, whether that be having a car wash or having a bake sale, like the opportunities for the students to kind of take ownership and claim their education by fundraising for dues and kind of having a stake in that as well. And then maybe kind of supplementing that with any Kiwanis support or other maybe financial resources that the club has. I think those are some really great ways that you can kind of explore that. And yeah, definitely feel free to check out the website. We have tons of recruitment, retention resources. We also had some professional, I'm not exactly sure what their title is, but they filmed some YouTube videos for us on like recruitment and retention and club growth that are available on our YouTube channel as well.
Okay, thank you.
Pauline, I was just going to add that for our Kiwanis Club, what has been really helpful, I think, in retaining our bunch and having such a good group of students to work with is that our club meets on our campus. And I don't know if there's an opportunity for that for your club, but we meet in one of the dining halls and we tell the Circle K students come have a free meal with us, listen to our speakers, and then you have the opportunity to network and make connections that are going to be meaningful to you beyond your college career. So that they can make connections that might be helpful in their futures once they do graduate. And that has led to a lot of service opportunities because many of our Kiwanis members are with the Council on Aging, and they've asked for Circle K help at events. And so they get to put service hours in there. And the animal shelters. Our president this year is doing her intern, Keep Carroll Beautiful, which is like the, the county group. And our Circle K does a monthly roadside cleanup with that organization, but she's also, interning with them. And so she's making connections and she wants to work in a nonprofit organization after she graduates. So, the more you get your Kiwanis members involved with the students and that back and forth between them is really, really helpful, I think, because the students see what's in it for them. And it makes it a much more valuable thing for them to be involved.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great point, Jennifer.
So, we're hosting the DCOM this year in August in Hilo. So I had our LTG for the Kiwanis. I had them already approach Mark McDonald to see if somehow we can get a room or a little conference room like how they had it in Vegas, was it in Reno last year. I thought that was pretty nice how that was all set up. But we haven't heard anything yet. We haven't heard anything back from them yet. So I guess we'll just wait and see what happens. I'm in touch with Scott a lot. Scott Smith. He is the region advisor for Seaside. Are y'all familiar with him? No. Okay. Well, he said he was going to be on this meeting, but I don't see him at all. So.
Yeah, I didn't see him either, honestly.
Yeah.
Any other recruitment or retention strategies?
Joan, you're muted.
Sorry. Joan Campbell, HPU advisor, Carolinas district. Hi, Jennifer. One of the big things that we found to make Kiwanis Circle K closer together is we invite them to come help us at Pancake Day. And they have a blast because we have a blast. It's fun. And also we invite them, 2 people every meeting from CKI get to come to Kiwanis for lunch. And we eat a pretty swanky lunch. As far as recruitment, we didn't have a good year at HPU. We'll be kicking it up a notch for recruitment. Doing some more joint club. Doing some joint club. It was talked about, but it never actually happened. And I have an idea for the Tomorrow Fund. Just have to be there. And then if you really want to, step it up a notch, when you have your district meeting, get your Kiwanis Club to bake cookies for everyone.
Yeah, I'd say that's a really great point, is like getting involved with service projects between Kiwanians and CKI members. So whether it's Kiwanians helping with the CKI project or the other way around, I'd say like if you're looking to get your CKI members more involved with the Kiwanis, reach out to see what service projects they already have as well. Because especially if you're a newer CKI club looking for new projects, that's a great way to start is just get those volunteer opportunities with an event that might be um, already pretty well established that they know they need volunteers for. Always a great way to get involved, and they're very happy to support us if we're supporting them as well. Go
This
ahead.
is Vanessa from Indiana. I just had a few comments. First of all, I'm so excited to be on here. Thanks to everyone that's here. Wanted to say that we host a hot air balloon festival, and it's Circle K's favorite activity. They always bring a lot of people out. They work all 3 days, get a lot of service hours. But on the flip side of it, when they're doing things, we go to their meeting and help them. So the next thing we're working on is where you take the plastic grocery bags and you make mats for the homeless out of them. So it's going to be hosted by Key Club, and Circle K and Kiwanis will work with them on that as well. And then lastly, we have an annual event where we have all their officers and all their volunteers come to, it's called SEI Kiwanis Presents It's All About You, and we recognize their officers. And we have the mayor of our city there. We have the Kiwanis District Governor there, the superintendent of schools. So it gives them a lot of kind of gives us a chance to showcase them, and so people understand more about our service leadership programs. So anyway, just wanted to add those few comments.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. A hot air balloon festival sounds like a lot of fun. And the sewing of plastic bags I've heard is a very popular event. Very cool.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I heard they do a similar event in Wisconsin, Upper Michigan with the bags. So
Oh,
definitely,
wonderful.
yeah, definitely starting to take off with that event. But that's great for the environment and great for service. Go ahead,
Absolutely.
Karen. You have your hand raised. But thanks, Vanessa.
Yes.
Those are great inputs.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me, Zachary?
Yes.
Okay. And I am ADA Karen Dan Brennan from the Bahamas. And what I've been doing with the CKI Club at the University of the Bahamas, you know, just like was stated before, we always invite them to come out and assist us with our projects. And we have extended invitations to them to assist them in any way that that they need help. And I found that one of the most important things for CKI clubs is for them to host fundraising events so that they will become more sustainable and more independent, as opposed to always going to their sponsor clubs to ask them for funds. And in terms of retention, I've always told them, make your flyers, post your flyers around your campus, and on the day of your meeting, a very good strategy for branding and to draw attention to yourself is to wear your CKI, we call them uniform, wear your CKI shirt that should host your university's name and also the Kiwanis logo, the Kiwanis branding logo on your shirt. And on the day of your meeting, make sure that you are wearing that shirt. And it speaks volumes because I know even when I go in my ADA shirts, if I went to a meeting and people come up to me and ask me to explain what is ADA and what is the Circle K is all about. So that is what has been happening in the Bahamas.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think recognition on campus and making sure that we're being visible as a club is definitely a huge part of that whole recruitment process. And yes, club t-shirts, a great way to be visible.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments on this topic? Looks like we have about 3 minutes here, so I'm just gonna open it up for any last minute questions. Anything that we can help you all out with as international, anything that has been on your minds lately, feel free to bring it up before we wrap it up.
Huh?
Okay, I guess I'll ask something. How much input should an advisor have, like at a meeting? Do you, like when something comes up, if you feel they're doing it wrong as a Kiwanis advisor, do you try and steer them in the right direction? I'm just curious, being brand new with this. I want to make sure I do it correctly and don't overstep, because I mean, you know, it's not like they're K kids or builders clubs. They, you know, they are older. I've run into a couple of things already, so I'm just looking for some kind of advice. How far do I go forward, or you know, what do I do as an advisor if I think they're doing something incorrectly?
Yeah, I'd say the big thing with CKI is making sure that the students still have autonomy. So their decision making should remain intact. And if there's something that they think they're doing well, um, you should still allow them to make those decisions. But as advisor, I think the best thing you can do is advise them. Obviously, like it's seems straightforward in the name, but the big thing is reach out to them and be like, I would say suggestions are very helpful. Suggestions of how they could be doing it. I wouldn't say necessarily stepping in at a meeting or taking over or anything along those lines, but making suggestions and having conversations with the student leaders about things that you think might not be going um, well, or things that you think they could improve upon, I think is very helpful. I would say personally, like, just having those suggestions and making sure that they know that you're available as a resource and know that uh know what you think on certain things that they might be implementing is definitely a valuable resource.
Okay, because I can tell you, just in the few meetings that I've been to, and I've gone to every meeting now since I've been asked to be an advisor, I can tell you that all this stuff that was discussed here today, none of this has ever been mentioned. So it is okay, I gather, if I say, hey, I went to this meeting and they talked about this kind of scholarship or these ideas for recruitment, that is okay for me to do? Be, I, yeah, okay,
Yeah, absolutely. And
okay.
if you're seeing that some of the opportunities for members are not being presented too, I would say feel free to chime in and just be like, hey, like these are resources for you as members. Um, so making sure the club knows about it is pretty important. So
Perfect.
yes, for sure.
Okay, that's what I'm going to, because all we've done is made cards and done paintings. And I'm like, there's got to be more. You're not going to get any members just by doing that. So this has actually been very helpful. And I thank you for all these links, because I think that's what I'm going to do.
I would also encourage them, if they're not talking about some of these things, to like remind them to be checking their emails, because International sends a newsletter every month. I think it's the
Okay.
second week of the month. And it has a lot of this information. It has a lot of dates, it has links, it has all the opportunities, like awards, like a lot of the things that Zach mentioned. And those, as the president, I would highly encourage you to recommend to your president to be sharing those types of opportunities again with the club members. But a lot of that stuff is in there. So yeah, please
Perfect.
do.
Thank you.
And I know that we're a minute over, but I would just, you know, thinking about, we've got advisors at the club level, we've got administrators at the district level, we've got obviously staff. Ultimately, it's a student-led organization, and all of us who are not members, we're really here to. I don't really like any of these titles that we all have personally. I'd rather say mentors or partners or something like that. But at all the levels, at the club level, at the district level, at the international level, the non-members that are involved, we're just trying to help. And sometimes we're trying to guide, but we're never trying to lead, if that makes sense. And so I think that a nudge in a direction is a great thing sometimes. with your club. But ultimately, there's a full stop. There's no but. Ultimately, it is going to be the students that are going to be the leaders of their own club, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that addition, Josh. Does anyone have any last minute comments before we wrap this up? Anything else to add? I know we're a couple minutes over. All right, so not looking like I'm seeing anything. So thank you all for attending tonight. Thank you for all the hard work you put in as club advisors. And feel free to reach out. We don't have to be a resource to you just on these calls. Feel free to reach out. Josh and Sam put their emails in the chat. I'll put mine in there too. But feel free to reach out anytime with any questions that you have. We are happy to help. There are also resources at the district level to help as well. So plenty of resources if you have any of these questions, and we're here to help if you need anything. So thanks all for being here today.